Coming up, Andrade El Idolo ain't taking no BS from Big Daddy Dave Meltzer over criticism of his TripleMania match. CM Punk teases and bees teased for AEW, and so much more. So make sure you subscribe to this channel for your all-important wrestling news, and if you do, I will show you El Catador. Here he is. Say thank you for subscribing, Terry. I was asleep and you picked me up. I know.
Support WrestleTalk!
So anyway, Kenny Omega headed down to Mexico over the weekend to defend his AAA Mega Championship against Andrade El Idolo, who, despite help from his father-in-law-to-be Ric Flair, couldn't brush the cleaner aside and pick up a title win. Side note, there is something actually quite sweet about Ric Flair backing up Andrade, and it obviously, macho to it is wrestling. But interestingly, Rick could also appear at the show because according to Wrestling Inc., he reportedly doesn't have a standard WWE non-compete clause in the contract he just left. And he reportedly also arranged his own transport to the show and didn't take an appearance fee. Now that is backing your family. A heartfelt woo! So it perhaps felt a little bit weird that Kenny managed to retain his championship after Andrade and Rick were on a roll throughout the show and tugging on the old heartstrings with their backstage antics. But now we may know why, because on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that Andrade was originally penciled to win the title, but AEW reportedly asked AAA to hold off on a switch, saying, the backstory on this was that Andrade was originally going to win, AEW has control of Kenny's finishes, they have to approve everything. They asked AAA to hold it off because I don't think they wanted Kenny doing jobs on Friday and Saturday night. AAA is working with them, so Kenny won. That's what happened. Now, Kenny lost the Impact World Championship to Christian Cage on the debut episode of AEW Rampage on Friday night, signaling the kind of belt collector's collection dwindling, shall we say. But AEW obviously didn't want to devalue their champion 2 nights on the trot. Now, prior to the show, Andrade had been promising a 5+ star classic match in interviews, and while what went down may not have actually lived up to that, which is instead focusing on some fun father and son-in-law stuff, Andrade ain't taking no BS from folks about it. Because Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said that he felt that Kenny Omega was working to have a really great match, but Andrade was working only to have a good match. It takes two to tango in wrestling and in commenting, and Andrade took to Twitter to strike back, saying, that man hates me and will never speak well of me or my fiance, but all the fans love him for the garbage that comes out of his mouth. I'm a pro and I showed it yesterday, and La Sombra is back to show everyone I'm better than waiting for a stupid star rating. I mean, I don't think it helped that the rating was being hyped ahead of the match though. You had a point, but you talked about it, didn't you? You brought it up. But more on all this in a second, including Charlotte Flair's involvement in TripleMania. But let's quickly hear from Ollie, though, and today's sponsor.
Before we get on with the rest of the news, I'd just like to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk and use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which doesn't just make your browsing much safer, it also gives you access to the content libraries from places like the UK, the US, or Japan, which will have movies and series that aren't available in your region. I'm talking streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, BBC iPlayer, and yes, the WWE Network. That's right, if you're in the US and you want to go back to the old WWE Network with all its original content and far superior search and chapter functions, then install Surfshark VPN now to get access to it from outside America. And do so using our links in the video description below, surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk, where you'll get 83% off and 3 months free if you use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark have been one of our biggest supporters this last year, so we'd really appreciate if you at least check them out using the link below. Support WrestleTalk and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
Meanwhile, over in WWE land, the EU were advertising Charlotte Flair's appearance for their house show on Saturday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. But Charlotte didn't get Charlotte because the hometown girl was actually backstage at TripleMania supporting her fiancé, as evidenced by this photograph. Kind of weird that WWE would advertise Chas for a house show when they knew full well that she would not be there. According to Meltzer, he knew some time ago that she would be in Mexico City for the show, so weird to say she would be in Charlotte. He said, "I had been told some time back that she was going to Mexico City. Obviously, she could not appear on the show because that would be a total violation of the contract, but Ric Flair, who is a free agent, did appear on the show. So I presume that Ashley Flair was backstage as I was told she was going to be, since she didn't show up in Charlotte, her hometown." Now, not only was Charlotte backstage to support, but she reportedly wished to be involved in Andrade's entrance, according to Lucha Libre expert Rob Viper, who tweeted saying, "Heard a rumor another Flair wanted to be part of this entrance too, and was strongly told no. Zippy face emoji." Turns out those boots aren't made for walking. They're made of snake, but they're for gorilla. Now, after the match, Kenny Omega also had a lot of fun ribbing Ric Flair in a backstage interview, saying he was going to get himself in trouble with New York. I wonder what he could mean. He said, "Here's the thing, he's got a lawsuit coming his way. It's not necessarily going to be from me, it's not necessarily going to be from Conan, but it might be from somewhere else, maybe even coming all the way from New York. He shouldn't have been here. I think he's violated a number of laws." Now, Dorky Kenny Omega is a lot of fun. He's like the best wrestler in the world crossed with the biggest Karen ever. Now, while Chaz skipped the hometown pop in favor of TripleMania, WWE's house show went ahead without her. But it also went ahead without two other stars of the women's division, Sasha Banks and current SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair, who were both pulled from the show due to unforeseen circumstances. Something that was repeated in Columbia, South Carolina on Sunday night. Now, both stars are scheduled to face off on Saturday for the women's title at SummerSlam, but these pullouts do seem to put that match at risk of not happening. Now, maybe both women are being saved for the main show rather than risking injury, or there could be something else going on that might take them out of SummerSlam. Read into that what you will. Because ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see come SmackDown on Friday and the pay-per-view on Sunday, which we're going to be live streaming like usual. But unlike usual, we're actually going to be in the same room. And I have got a lot of microphones to set up. And before we crack on, we just need to thank Black and Decker Dane for their support on Patreon. There's never been a better time to become a pledge hammer.
To persuade females to come close and admire his plumes, he sings the most complex song he can manage.
Day 2759 of CM Punk's return to Wrestling Watch. And the hype is kind of getting really real for this Friday's First Dance edition of Rampage in Chicago. Now, over the weekend, Punk was on the commentary team for a Cage Fury Fighting Championship event and dropped a lovely little tease about his own return to wrestling. Commentary partner John Morgan said one of the competitors was returning to wrestling during a ground and pound, and Punk quipped, "Yeah, he's looking all elite now." Ooh. It's like that moment in films where they say the film's title. "Oh, he said the thing, he said the thing, he said the thing." But it's not even just wrestlers and wrestling shows getting in on the action. Even the NFL is aware of the cultural significance of Punk returning to wrestling, dropping their own hint during the Chicago Bears versus Miami Dolphins pre-season game. With Adam Rank saying that Justin Fields, no, I don't know any of these people, was the most anticipated debut in Chicago until Friday, when presumably CM Punk shows up on AEW. Ooh, he also said the thing. And if he doesn't turn up now, I mean, Chicago's gonna get ruined, isn't it? And if he does turn up, same, I guess. While AEW seemingly has everything going for it right about now, things are a little bit bleaker on the losing side of the Wednesday Night War, because NXT has not only suffered the indignity of moving to Tuesdays, but it's also been raided for its talent, who have then been ruined on the main roster, and suffered numerous releases, some of which weren't even put to Triple H and Shawn Michaels before they happened. Oof. With a capital oof. Now it appears that the show may not even be continuing as a live show, because Brian Alvarez tweeted to say that it appears NXT is returning to taping shows in advance starting next Monday and Tuesday, adding later that the NXT taping schedule may be temporary, but for sure they're taping several episodes after TakeOver. I mean, that is one way to get around the sudden shocking release of people you were actually using to do things. Just film it all in advance. But also, if NXT goes back to being taped in advance, it also adds credence to the idea that the show is returning to its more developmental state prior to it going live on USA. As has also been reported recently, the big changes are coming to the show's lighting, logo, and format, and I guess we could be seeing that kick into effect after TakeOver this Sunday, which is now really feeling like the last hurrah for NXT as we know it. It is a big, huge week for wrestling though, with SummerSlam, TakeOver, Punk possibly returning at Rampage on Friday, and we're going to be covering all of it, baby, over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. We're going to be hanging out, watching things live, having fun, and winning a bloody championship back to boot. So please make sure to go over to WrestleTalk podcast and hang out. And if you're watching on Monday, Ollie and Luke might be live over there right now watching all of the Attitude Era WrestleManias back to back.
As Denise, the Hammer Salcedo, takes on her very best friend, Luke Owen, as they book the final run of Brock Lesnar.